Hey, what is up ladies and gentlemen, I am Joel here, and I'm Duffy Duck here. We are back for some more yet again for the likes of the Merxy Toys videos. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for some more of Let's Play of Mario and Sonic at the London 2012 Olympic Games for the Nintendo Wii. So last time we have managed to able to, well, competed in the forms of 5 dream events, and so far so good. We have managed to able to go ourselves most of those first place medals, except the ones in Dream Long Jump, probably because we were so close to able to beating Silver at the end. Plus, because of how the fact that we actually got ourselves our ginormous knockback by that particular bomb, which I think that particular bomb placements can be a bit too much, I have to be honest here. So today, for this particular episode, is the fact that we're going to be hit on to the final 5 events, which there are Dream Equestrian all the way up to Dream Fencing. So as a result, let's get to it with Dream Equestrian to start with, and yeah, I suppose we should probably go ahead and select the girls basically, like Amy Rose, Blaze the Cat, Peach, and Daisy. Yeah, just like in the forms of in the cycling event. So, in this event, teams race wagons to avoid dropping eggs and compete to reach the goal in the fastest time. And conveniently enough, this takes place in Moo Moo Meadows from Mario Kart Wii. Even to be more specifically Mario Kart Wii, because it's all in daytime and stuff like that. Because unlike in Mario Kart 8 / Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, that does have itself a little bit of a nicer sunset view, which as far as you might as well notice from the start. So yeah, let's get this thing to it. And obviously every time whenever you play this event, and same applies to the other event as well, that we get ourselves a small cinematic where Kamek is, like for example, in this event right here, Kamek is managed to able to see on his telescope to see the actual goal and the starting lines, and as a result that Kamek is up to no good again. So, if you ever played the 3DS version of Mario and Sonic at the London 2012 Olympic Games, you're actually going to be competing against with Kamek in journey forms of an BMX event. Yeah, because unfortunately the BMX doesn't seem to show up in this game until, you know, Rio 2016 Olympic Games on the Wii U. They managed to have ourselves BMX, but sadly BMX will not make a return in Journey Forms of in Tokyo 2020. So it's kind of a shame, but oh well. So yeah, this event in particular is the fact that it plays out pretty much exactly like how it sounds. Like basically we just have to make our way to the finish line, while at the same time we just have to avoid a lot of obstacles, or even in this case, we need to avoid a lot of those burning haystack. So yeah, as a result, yeah, he's gonna have to pay attention to that. And also, that much like any forms of in, well, the previous Dream events, is the fact that this could only be controlled with just a Wiimote on its own. Yeah, because of that though, we need to do a lot of tilting has been going on. And especially noticeable how the fact that if you sort the actual boost gauge, as you can see right there, we have to keep on shaking it most of the time, so that way you can able to actually get ourselves the fastest time. However, as you can see from the actual wagons, as you can see right here, we need to look after those Yoshi's eggs, because if you somehow manage to lose one of them, you get 10 seconds penalty. But if you somehow manage to able to lose all of the eggs, then chances are you probably won't gonna lose. So even that knows you have to be, well, you need to be very cautious, because if you really want to get the first place medal, well, chances are you have to be exactly perfect at it. Because, well, especially noticeable if you really want to go for challenges and stuff like that, I think you have to do that quite a few times potentially. But if you somehow make it to the goal, while simply at the same time manage to rescue all 7 of those different colored Yoshis, it will be pretty cool if we're able to select Yoshi on this event as well. So that makes it more accurately kind of like a Yoshi Story vibe, or Yoshi's Woolly World, or heck, even with the forms of Yoshi's Crafted World, that Piglet still needs to get back into that game until at some point in Junior Forms event, as we as far as what Piglet has already said before, that he will be back onto that until at some point in September or something. So, but you know, you get the drill for this point. Talking of which, actually, is the fact that ever since that Piglet is still carry on doing SpongeBob SquarePants Battle for Bikini Bottom Let's Play so far, Recently today is the 23rd of June today, in this case in 2020. So for the sake of clarity, the SpongeBob SquarePants Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated game has recently came out today for both the PlayStation 4, PC, Steam, Xbox One, and of course the Nintendo Switch. And obviously we actually already got both versions of the game now, so in this case, yeah. Alright, so next event is Dream Sprints. In this event, players race air balls to get to the finish line in the fastest time. I do apologize for the actual excitement that's been going on, but either way though, let's talk more about it until later. So as you can see, we are now selecting Dr. Eggman, and because of that, we're now going to be hit on to Dream Sprints, which technically we've already experienced this event from before, ever since in London Party, but we're going to show this off again. And because of that, this time around though, we are selecting a different character. And plus, as you can see on screen, that as far as we already established that before, this takes place in Bingo Highway from Sonic no, what do I say, Sonic Adventure? That's in Windy Valley. I do apologize for that. Anyway, Bingo Highway obviously takes place in, well, Dream Sprints takes place in Bingo Highway from Sonic Heroes. So, that's what I meant to say right here, and that's what I deserve for able to almost have the wrong Sonic game was based on. Mind you, it's only because of how the fact that, well, for the sake of clarity, it's the fact that it has been, you know, quite a few days since we actually, just, you know, noticing this already from the start. Yeah, I know that. But anyways, as we said this before, in order to be able to perform a lot of shortcuts, despite the fact that we accidentally just failed that first shortcut, by the way, you have to go from like platform to platform, you know? And because of that though, we have to be extremely dead on with the timing and what have you. Which, again, in order to be able to get the achievement in this particular event, as you can see, that we need to get onto the jackpot hole during about, I would say, I don't know if it's like 3 or so times or something, but then again, no, it has been donkey's years since we actually played the game. And conveniently enough, we actually got ourselves our glorious new record. Despite we haven't got a new record in, Dream Equestrian, if only if the fact that we could have able to actually did, like, not to bump into any single walls, or to be more specifically, just onto that guardrail or anything. But at least Dream Sprint is actually a pretty cool event. It almost kind of reminds me of Super Monkey Ball, or to be more specifically, Super Monkey Ball Banana Blitz, because that game does have a jump button, you know. Yeah, and also because there's gonna be a lot of tilting involved. So yeah, that's as far as I was thinking of anyway. So, anyways, let's move on to the next Dream event. And yes, we got ourselves a jackpot level 1. So, yeah, I just want to point it out with the actual achievement system on this. So, the next cool event we're going to be hitting into is Dream Trampoline. And this particular Dream event is, without doubt, one of our favorites. And because of that, though, let's go ahead and select Warrior right here. And let's get this thing to it. In this event, 2 players compete each jump to earn more points with their aerial routines. And this obviously takes place in Crazy Gadget from Sonic Adventure 2. Yeah, from the likes of in the 15th stage in the Hero Side story, where Sonic is the only one traversing for this level. Oh, speaking of such though, we have ourselves Shadow, the Ultimate Life Form, and also Tails and Dr. Eggman, based off from that, well, particular rival battle between, you know, both Tails and Dr. Eggman during the forms within the actual, well, story mode, as in a boss fight. But except the fact that the biggest difference is, though, Duffy, is the fact that, well, they're competing for the Olympic events and stuff like that, as you expect. And also, same applies to the fact that, well, you know, they no longer have themselves the actual mechs or anything like that. Yeah, which is very understandable, so... In this event right here, you have to do a series of combinations between the actual, not only just shaking the Wiimote downwards, but also a serious amount of buttons here and there as well. Like, press A and 1, and especially 2, and that's pretty much about it. But even then though, it always kind of reminds me of something related to the same thing as in the regular trampoline event, but this is pretty cool though, because, well, for one noticeable thing is the fact that, oh yeah, speaking of Tails vs. Eggman, here's the Sonic Adventure 2 reference in the exact same, well, environment. Yeah, kind of cool actually. And also, there's going to be some rare occasions where you're going to have to, like, tilt the Wiimote either each side in between. So, yeah, just want to point it out. Eventually, when the actual 2 jumps has been concluded, then basically it'll just go all the way higher up and journey the actual platform. But even then, though, it would be kind of a cool dream to have, for able to actually interact with the actual biggest trampoline we can get. If you somehow manage to able to get more routines correct than the other, well, against the other player, what happens is the fact that if you somehow win a sequence, then you get yourselves bonus points. And speaking of bonus points, while you're able to actually stand onto that particular platform, you can able to actually time your claps or what have you, until you're able to actually guarantee to get more points more than ever before. And then eventually, whenever we get on to turn 7 and turn 8, it's going to be likely the 3rd place to 4th place position round. And especially noticeable whenever we get on to the last jump, then it's more specifically 1st to 2nd players. So yeah, that's how it goes basically. I really enjoyed this particular version of Crazy Gadget's theme right here, because I don't know, something about this theme is like almost gives me so much more good memories to able to actually play this event in particular. So yeah, you get the idea for that point. And that's pretty cool. And that's pretty much about it when it comes to Dream Trampoline itself. And to top it all off, a new record. I think we actually did that pretty well though. Especially noticeable how the fact that with all this timing and quick control reflexes and stuff. And I feel incredibly bad for Tails, by the way, because he was the only one not in the actual award ceremony. So generally speaking, between both Dr. Eggman and Shadow are related to, you know, Sonic Adventure 2 Dark Side story, did manage to get the medals. Yeah, which I'm assuming they're able to actually conquer the Earth anytime soon. Well, not now though, because they're playing the actual Olympic events, or Dream events as far as I like to say. We've no idea why we keep on referencing some parts like this, you know? So anyways, that's actually a really fun event. I actually really enjoyed this event a lot. And let's move on to the next 2, in this case the final 2 Dream events. So next up is Dream Spacewalk. And let's go ahead and select all the Hedgehog characters, meaning Sonic, Shadow, and Silver, and including the Metal Hedgehog, which is of course Metal Sonic. So in this event, 4 players cooperate to subdue Dino Piranha faster than the rival team. And this takes place in Synchrono Battle Galaxy, or to be more accurate, Sky Station Galaxy from Super Mario Galaxy 2. Because you can definitely see the actual similarities as far as the actual environment itself goes, including the forms of that familiar Yoshi's house in the beginning, which, and also same applies to those 2 pipes here and there as well, that allows you to able to go from, you know, the other side of a planet to another, so you get the idea. And just like the forms of Dream Equestrian, it starts off with cinematic, where Dino Piranha just somehow spouts out fireballs at that precious poor, you know, Lumas that wants us help here. To able to, well, finish him off. And we can able to launch our launch stars just like in the Galaxy games. And this time around though, Sonic and his friends has now managed to finally fly into space. So yeah, it's pretty cool though, which it always kind of reminds me of, almost related to Sonic Lost World, which some people complain about the fact that Sonic Lost World is basically like a clone to Super Mario Galaxy. But in ultimately standpoints though, I have to be honest here, that I still think that Sonic Lost World is very underrated on the Wii U version, but the 3DS version, it's like, ugh, I really hate it. Anyway, so in this particular event, as you can see, all you have to do is just basically, we need to get into this little circle here, and then if you do so already, then it's your chance to able to deal the damage on Dino Piranha. Or to be more specifically though, in order to be able to deal with more damage on Dino Piranha, we have to press the 2 buttons so you're able to actually deal with even more damage. And every once in a while, whenever he starts to go in Rampage mode, sometimes you're able to actually now start to spew out the fireballs at us. But here's the trick to this though, is the fact that if you somehow manage to able to attack, or just in this case spin attack, the actual fireballs as you can see, you can able to actually not only just try to stun him, but also you can able to actually just to give them a chance to able to actually hit its tail. Just like it was in the original Super Mario Galaxy and Super Mario Galaxy 2 being the Boss Blitz Galaxy. Like, if we're gonna try this for the sake of time, like for instance right here, then as you can see, the fireballs now managed to hit him, and then if we get into the circle long enough, then if we hit its tail from behind, that way it'll do the insane amount of damage. So yeah, that's as far as we can able to think about it. There's an achievement in this as well, by simply able to actually strike against with the fireballs like quite a amount of times. So yeah, that's pretty cool. And once you deal with all the amount of damage on Dino Piranha, then the event itself is finished. And unfortunately we don't receive the Power Star or anything like that. But then again, it's just the event's coincidence, and we got a new record, so how's up for that? Especially noticeable how the fact that the good thing we did show you guys a cool trick in order to be able to get the new record out of it, by simply able to actually just to, you know, strike its tail and just, you know, deal the amount of damage. Now, if you those of you probably wondering about the fact that despite the fact that we're still in UK at the time, that before warning, don't play this event on 50Hz mode, because what happens is if you ever play this on 50Hz mode, if you manage the first time playing this event, the actual cutscene starts to lag a bit. But thankfully, if you ever set this on 60Hz mode, as you saw right here, thankfully the cutscene itself is being probably balanced. So yeah, let's move on now to the final dream event in the entire game, and that is of course Dream Fencing. And let's just go ahead and use the Miis and what have you. I don't know which Mii we might as well go for, but we might as well go for Pinkie Pie again after the events of the original Olympic Games. So yeah, let's go for her. In this event, 4 characters face each other on a stage to try to be the last one standing. And there's also the actual, I think, usually relatively speaking, this is the only Dream event to able to feature 2 different control types, but we'll go for the Wiimote on its own this time around. And obviously, as you can see on the actual environment, as you can see, this takes place in Ocean Palace, also from Sonic Heroes as well. Because you remember in the forms of Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Winter Games, specifically the Vancouver 2010 installment, that since then that Mario and Sonic has already experienced Seaside Hill from the likes of Dream Alpine, but this time around in Dream Fencing, we now have some sort of like a second act based off from the likes of Sonic Heroes, which is of course Ocean Palace. So yeah, it's pretty cool though, and ultimately, relatively speaking, is the fact that all you have to do is just be the last man standing, and that's all you really have to think about it. Also, you got some health bars, as you can see right there, as well as some items that'll attempt to help you out. Like, for instance, we got ourselves the heart item, which this allows you to able to heal your health up in a certain amount of time. And also, there's going to be some special moves every once in a while though. But in order to be able to achieve that is the fact that, well, I don't know how to exactly get those though. Yeah, anyway though, and let's just not blaze out. Speaking of which, actually, we're actually going to be face off against with the majority of the Sonic characters once again. Oh jeez, what is going on around here? Anyway though, but be very careful of these, a lot of hazards by the way. Specifically, we got ourselves these egg ponds, and especially with the flippers, as you can see. And let's not forget ourselves, do you remember with that dynamite bomb ever since in Shadow the Hedgehog? Well, we do need to avoid that too. And I'm not exactly sure if the dynamite bomb was a thing in Journey forms of in Sonic Heroes, regrettably. But then again though, it has been a very long time since we actually played Sonic Heroes. Well, at least we still managed to complete ourselves the GameCube version back in the day. But we still haven't completely done with the Xbox version or the PS2 version, so... But still, I found the PS2 versions considerably the worst version of the game, you know? Probably because of the slow frame rate and what have you, and very severe collision detection issues and stuff. And also, much like in Dream Long Jump, is the fact that sometimes we have to come across into those bombs every once in a while. But thankfully though, it's actually a little bit more balanced compared to the forms of how it does it in Dream Long Jump, because, well, for one noticeable thing, you don't get a knockback, and second, well, it will try to demolish your health bar for a little bit, but once you get used to like trying to able to dodge every single hazard or anything like that, then you should be fine for the most out of it. So yeah, you get the idea for that little, specifically for this event in general. But then again, it might be pretty hard to control with the Wiimote on its own. probably we should go for the Wiimote and Nunchuck combo, don't you think, Joel? Well, I should probably think so anyway. Plus, this is actually the final time we're going to be seeing the actual award ceremony sequence right here, folks. Yeah, because of that, though, we're actually getting pretty close towards the end. So even then, though, we only got a few more things to show off, and then the entire Let's Play will be finished by then. Well, especially noticeable until it's likely a perfect time to able to, well, let Mario and Sonic were able to focusing on now onto, you know, the Tokyo 2020 Olympics. Well, despite the fact that the actual Olympics of Tokyo 2020 is still officially delayed, you know, but either way though, that's all I can really say about it here. So yeah, we actually got almost every single first place medals, well again, the only exception being the forms of Dream Long Jump, and so far we're actually missing 2 medals, well to be more specifically between both gold, and especially noticeable with the first place medals. I do apologize without belching, by the way. I know it's incredibly disgusting and revolting, but either way though, I'm just drinking too much, you know. So anyways, before I end things off, there's actually a mail that we actually received from not only SBO, but also Charmy B as well. And by doing certain amount of things, then we actually get ourselves even more costumes, as you can see right here. Or to be more specifically, some more suits. Oh goodness gracious, we have the Werehog suit, based off from Sonic Unleashed. And for whatever reason, we got ourselves our new challenge has been accomplished. Okay, seems pleasant enough. So, with that being said though, we're gonna have to end things off at this point right there. So join us next time for more of Let's Play of Mario and Sonic at the London 2012 Olympic Games. We're gonna be heading back onto London Party for a bit, and because of that, we'll be showing you guys off every single rival battles of how this game offers us to. So even then though, I think there are about 8 of them this time around, as opposed to God knows how much in the previous game. So yeah, see you guys until on Thursday. Later fellas.